Good morning and welcome back to another episode of Discover Your Real Estate Career. I'm sitting here with Joe, and today we are going to be talking about how to stay on track during the holidays. So Joe, how's it going?
It's going great, thanks. How about yourself?
Can't complain, it's been a great day.
So far so good,
So far so good. So what do you have to talk about today as far as staying on track?
Well, I guess my first question is what defines a great day for you?
A great day is when I wake up happy and healthy and, I'm pumped to go to work and do what I do every day. That's really what a great day is for me. Just wake up with a smile on my face.
No, that's cool. That's cool. So during the holidays, what happens? Most of our competitors, people like to take the month off. They not disciplined. They stop working. They stop prospecting, and they really find themselves in a huge slump in January and February. And that's really what we want to talk about today, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So how can you overcome that? When you know that a lot of your competitors are doing just that, how do you take advantage of that? And what do we do?
You show up every day and go to work. Like you mentioned, the majority of our people in our industry decide that essentially most of November and all of December is a great time to take off. But then they find themselves scrambling in March and April thinking, wait a second, why is it like I'm, starting the wheel all over again? So it's just showing up every day. One of our agents said she even started wearing extra professional attire to make her feel to kind of counterbalance wanting to stay home in the comfy clothes. So she put on her extra professional clothes and showed up, and stuff's happening for her. So good job.
That's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
It's a really good idea. So what are some of the other things that we can do? And a lot of folks are bombarding us. It seems to be a huge topic these days, but role play and practice seems to be something that now is a good time to be doing. And I've always found that when you role play, it's like, should we role play with each other and practice? And I guess to a point, yes. But I think the best role play that we could possibly do is, actually making that call, actually making that appearance, actually holding the open house, and practice while doing, and really honing our skills while I guess we're on stage is what I would call it, when it's the real live deal. What do you think of that?
Definitely. And if you don't practice, it's kind of like, what are you doing then? We are professionals. We deal with people's biggest assets usually in their entire lives. And it's the Lakers don't go out and, don't practice between games. They're out there every single day. And it's kind of like the same thing. How can we expect to be as good as we can be if we fail to practice? So I think that's a huge thing.
And now is also a great time, I think, to be out there, prospecting, generating more leads for yourself, and doing some aggressive lead follow-up, and really taking a look at, what if you took all the buyers, for example, in today's market. There were a lot of buyers in the beginning of the year and throughout the whole year that wrote offers, and they wrote, X number of offers, and they still don't own a home.
Mm-hmm.
And they took themselves out of the game for whatever reason they wanted to, but they didn't buy anything. I'm thinking that now is just a wonderfully terrific time to be calling them up and saying, hey, you know what? Now's a good time for us to be going out and looking at property for several reasons. A, there's a really nice inventory to choose from, and B, because of that inventory, there's not as many buyers to compete with, and chances of you getting a home closer to what you really want is really exponentially greater than it's ever been. Now's a great time for you to be doing that.
It is a good time, and that's a great point. Just reaching out to all of those people that, the business tends to slow down a little bit during the holiday time, which is totally fine. And taking a list that you've accumulated for over the year, like now is the perfect time to do that, because you have a little bit more downtime than you maybe had during the summer or earlier this year. So why not, dust that list off and go through it?
And I think that it's the other thing about that, Steph, is that I think that buyers have a tendency, you know, when you're in the middle of the year, I mean, you're just so wrapped up in life in general. And this is a time of year where couples and people and you know, spend more time talking, and they're in the car going places and they're chatting, and you know, they may be it's the top of their mind as well, and they're talking about it and thinking, you know, they can have those discussions about buying their first home or their next home or whatever their plans are, or that investment property as well. We can't leave that investment side out either. You know, every you know, investments are a good part of anybody's portfolio.
And going off that point too is, you know, this is also the time of year where people are starting to kind of, you know, taper down 2018 and talk about their hopes and dreams for 2019, and touching base with them about helping them make that home ownership dream a reality during this time frame is a great way to get your foot in the door for a strong 2019.
So do you have hopes and dreams for 2019, Stephanie?
I have zero. No, I'm just kidding. Of course I do. Again, that's what drives me every day is those types of things. So just reaching out, and that's something that we take time to talk about and set and make a goal list for. You know, I've mentioned before that one thing that was on our list and has been on our list for actually the last 2 years we just accomplished was buying our dream home. So I think making those lists is incredibly important, and then as a realtor, contacting those people that you hold close to remind them of that list, and that purchasing a home should be on that list is a great time to do it.
So you and your husband have goals and aspirations and things you want to do in 2019, and I would imagine you've also got them set up for the next 5 years and 10 years
Mm-hmm.
as well. So do you start working on those, and you know the answer to this question, but you know, do you start working on those on January 2nd, or are you implementing the plan now?
So going back to our original topic of, you know, working through the holidays, same thing. Of course, I don't sit there on January 1 or January 2 and say, what do we want to do this year? This is something we plan out a few months prior to, so we can gear ourselves up to make our goals happen sooner than later, as opposed to waiting till, let's say, November for our goals to happen. So it just goes back to, now is the time. You put in the work now, and you'll start 2019 off with a big bang. And another thing to do within that time frame, you know, we talked about taking some time during this slower season to make those phone calls and reach out to people you may not have spoken to, but it's also a great time to brush up on your skills. You know, we talked about role playing and practicing, but what about your listing presentation? Now's
Right.
a great time to refresh that for 2019. So.
Well, I think that these are all great things, but in closing up the session today, I would want to just talk about balance for just a minute. And sometimes that word balance drives people crazy. Sometimes but you know, when it's really used right, it's, you know, to truly balance. So is it appropriate this time of year to be working 12, 14 hours a day?
In my opinion, definitely not.
Yeah, you need to spend a little more time with your family, but you do need to balance it out. You don't want to abandon your business
No.
and let it fall by the wayside and you know, and again be caught behind the 8 ball on January 1st.
Yeah, but this is definitely take the time to enjoy your family, your friends, and this truly wonderful holiday season.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to say in closing up there?
That is it.
All righty. Charge on, everybody. Thank you for listening.